Good morning, my dear students. Shamim is here. Hope you all are fine by the grace of Almighty. Dear children, this term we are going to begin with our unit 3. Right? In our last semester, we completed unit number 1 and 2. In this term, we are beginning with our unit number 3. And today, we'll be studying our first poem, that is 3.1, Tartary. Okay, as you can see on the screen, the name, right? So children, Tartary, written by the famous poet Walter de la Mare, is about an imagined kingdom called Tartary. The poet, like a child, imagines himself as the lord of this kingdom, which is full of pleasures and beauty. So, students, it is a dreamy presentation of the riches of the world. Okay, very beautiful the poem is written. Now, let's see the more information about the author. Right? As you can see on the screen about the author, Walter is the author of many poems in which dreams and realities, fairies and humble, natural creatures are delightfully blended. Right? And he was educated at St. Paul's Cathedral School. Walter de la Mare was engaged in business in London for some years. His early books were published under the name of Walter Rammel. His work includes The Listeners, Peacock Pie, The Whale, The Burning Glass, and Winged Chariot. And he had also written some novels and stories for children. Right? You can see on the screen this famous poet. He was born in the year 1873 and died in the year 1956. Right, children? Yes. So he was a famous English writer, we can say, because he wrote many volumes of poetry. He wrote many short stories. He wrote many novels. Right? Yes. So, even by adding the more information, I can say at the age of 16, he had started working in the statistic department of Anglo-American Oil Company. And he was married in the year 1899. And during these years of his life, he had to struggle hard to run his family. So he hardly used to have time to write. So, the short story collection, I can say, the Riddle and Other Stories, Ding Dong Bell, then Broomsticks and Other Tales, which are very stories for children. Novels, he had written the written novel, right? So this was the extra information about this author, and you can also get more information on internet, right? Yes. Now let's proceed further. Now about Tartary. Tartary or Great Tartary was a historical region in Asia located between the Caspian Sea, Ural Mountain, and the Pacific Ocean. Tartary was a blank term used by Europeans for the areas of Central Asia, North Asia, and East Asia, unknown to European geography. And the entire area was known simply as Tartary and inhabitants Tartars. So Europeans began to subdivide Tartary into sections with prefixes, right, denoting the name of the ruling power or the geographical locations. Right? Yes. Now, here the poet says that it was the only ruler of Tartary. So, it is an imaginary state. Right? Yes. So, today we'll study the two stanzas, right? 4 stanzas are there altogether. Let's study today the 2 stanzas. Let's see the first one. First I'll read the first stanza, then I'll explain you. Poem 3.1, Tartary. If I were lord of Tartary, myself and me alone, my bed should be of ivory, of beaten gold my throne, and in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forests tigers haunt, and in my pools great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. Right? If I were lord of Tartary, the poet says that if he was the only ruler of Tartary, an imaginary state. Are you getting me? Yes, Tartary is imaginary state in which the poet says that if he was the only ruler of Tartary, myself and me alone. Try to understand, children. What the poet has written, myself and me alone. It means the line myself and me alone means that the poet does not want to share his comfort and the riches with anybody else. He just wants to enjoy all the great pleasures of life alone. He don't want to share this. His behavior looks similar to that of a child who does not want to give his toys to other children. Are you getting me the meaning? Are you getting the meaning of this line? Myself and me alone. All the comfort the poet does not want to share. He don't want to share his comfort and riches with anybody else. Right? My bed should be of ivory, of beaten gold my throne. It means he would have a bed of ivory and a throne made of sheets of gold. Are you getting me? Yes. So, ivory. What is the meaning of ivory now? You have heard the name ivory? Yes, the hard white substance which forms the main part of the elephant's tusk. Yes, you have seen the elephant's tusk, two tusk. And it is used to make ornaments. At the international level, this metal is very, very costly. Already this metal is costly. But at the international level, this metal is very costly. It is a hard white substance which forms the main part of an elephant's tusk, and it is used to make ornaments. So children, what the poet is thinking here, that when I will be the king, when I'll be the ruler of this Tartary, this imaginary state, he would have a bed of ivory and a throne made of sheets of gold. Right? Beaten gold. What is beaten gold? The gold hammered into a flat, thin shape. Gold which is hammered into a flat, thin shape. So, my bed will be of ivory and my throne which I am going to use for sitting will be made of sheets of gold. Hope these lines are clear to you, these 4 lines. Let's proceed further. And in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forest tigers haunt. So what the poet is thinking, that he would have a court where peacocks would proudly show off. What is flaunt? Show off proudly. Here it means to dance in a very particular way. You know, peacocks are dancing, right? So here dance in a very particular way so that others will notice. So the poet is thinking that he would have a court where peacocks would proudly show off, right? Where they would dance. And in my forest, tigers haunt. What is haunt? Haunt is moving here and there, right? To live, to visit, we can say. Here, to move about. Here, haunt means to move about. So there would be tigers in the forest, right? So you would have a court where peacocks would dance, would proudly show off, and there would be tigers in the forest. And see the last two lines. And in my pools, great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. And his pools, he's dreaming that there will be pool in my kingdom where great fishes slant. Slant means they will lean in a particular direction or tilt. They will move at a proper angle. You can see the meaning on the screen. Right? So the in his pools would be full of big fishes whose fins, right? The fishes are having fins. You have studied in the science. You have seen the fish whose fins would move into the sun, right? Slant is to move at an angle, and athwart means across, especially in a slanting direction. So when there will be the sun rays falling in this pool, all these fishes will be shining. Right, children? So, what does the poet thinks in this stanza? That he thinks of having a bed made of ivory and a throne decorated with beaten gold. He wishes to see dancing peacocks in his court, roaring tigers in his forest, and fishes swimming sideways in his pool. Right? So the poet is like a child, imagines himself as a lord of this kingdom, imaginary world, which is full of pleasures and beauty, and it is a dreamy presentation of the riches of the world. I hope this first stanza is absolutely clear to you. So, we are going to study one more stanza. Let's proceed further. See the second one in your textbook, page number 56. If I were Lord of Tartary, trumpeters every day, to every meal would summon me, and in my courtyard bray, and in the evening lamps would shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. Now, in the second stanza, first stanza, it was all about the dream, all about the animals. The poet told us about the animal, about the bird, about the fish. Now in second stanza, he dreams that trumpeters would invite him. Now here trumpeters. What do you mean by trumpeters, children? One who plays the trump, right? Yes, the one who plays a trumpet, a wind musical instrument are called as trumpeter. So if I were Lord of Tartary, if I'll be the king, ruler of this Tartary, the trumpeters, what they will do, they would invite me, summon me. Summon means to call. Summon means to invite, to call for. Every day they will call for me for every meal. Every meal means for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. For every meal, these trumpeters, They will play the trumpet and they will call me, and in my courtyard bray. Right? Now, bray here is to make harsh, loud cry like a donkey. Donkey bray. But it is often used for trumpet sound. The bray word is used for trumpets sound. So the poet says that if he was the lord of Tartary, trumpeters would call him for every meal, as I say, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, every day, and blow their trumpets in his courtyard. What is courtyard, children? A open space. Yes, a open space near the kingdom, a open space near the palace. The open space is called as courtyard. So these trumpeters will blow their trumpets in his courtyard, right? And every day they are going to summon me, invite me for every meal. And in the evening, lamps would shine, yellow as honey, red as wine. And in the evening, yellow and red lamps would shine. The color is compared. Right, children? The evening is the time when lamps would shine with red and yellow color. Yellow of honey and red color of wine. While harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. See, now harp is a string musical instrument. It is a string musical instrument. Are you getting me? Yes. So you know what is flute? Flute is also a musical instrument. Right? Yes. And mandolin. Mandolin is also a musical instrument with 4 or 6 pairs of string. This instrument is having 4 or 6 pairs of strings. Musical instrument it is. Right? Yes. So what the poet is saying? That the evening time when lamps would shine with red and yellow color, honey and wine have been used to describe the sweetness and the intoxicating mood, right? And the poet has talked about some musical instrument like harp, flute, and mandolin, which provide an unusual, exotic, extreme feeling of extreme joy. Because sweet and gay music, right? So here gay means happy and cheerful, very happy mood, very cheerful mood, right? Sweet and gay music would be played by musical instruments like the harp and the flute and the mandolin. Right, children? So here I have completed 2 stanzas. Once again I am revising. In short, just pay attention. Tartary, written by Walter de la Mare, is about an imagined kingdom called Tartary. The poet says that if he was the only ruler of Tartary, that is an imaginary state which is full of, the poet like a child imagines himself as the lord, right, as the ruler of this kingdom which is full of pleasures and beauty. It is a dreamy presentation, children, imaginary presentation we can see of the riches of the world, right? So in first stanza he thinks of having a bed. All it is imaginary. See, he thinks of having a bed made of ivory and a throne decorated with beaten gold. He wishes to see dancing peacocks in his court, roaring tigers in his forest, and fishes swimming sideways in his pools. This is the first stanza. And what about the second one? He dreams that the trumpeters would invite him to every meal. Every meal means for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, right? By playing harsh sounds like a donkey in his courtyard, the donkey bray. And here the bray word is often used for trumpet sounds to make harsh and loud cry like a donkey, which is often used for trumpet sound. And the evening is the time when lamps would shine with red and yellow color. Honey and wine have been used to describe the children, the sweetness and the good mood and the ambience, we can say. The poet has talked about some musical instruments like harp. Yes, harp is a musical instrument. I told you, a string musical instrument. You know, flute. Yes, and mandolin. Mandolin is also a musical instrument with 4 or 6 pairs of string, which provide an unusual and exotic, extreme feeling of extreme joy. Right, children? So, there are 4 stanzas in this poem. Today I have completed 2 stanzas. Just read the poem. You have to write this poem one time in your English notebook. Okay? Just revise the 2 stanzas which I taught you today. Note down the meanings in your English notebook, which I told you today. And in my next session, I'll be completing with the next 2 stanzas. Hope everything is clear. If you have any doubt regarding this poem, regarding any sentence, if the word you're meaning you are not at all getting, just feel free to WhatsApp me on my personal number. Don't hesitate to ask your doubts. Okay, children? Hope my all instructions are absolutely clear to you. Now here, your English teacher saying you goodbye. Thank you. Take care. Be safe.